Yeah.
This meeting to order, and if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And each month we like to share a portion of our vision, mission, and core values, and this month is the second half of our core values. We believe in instruction that is student-centered, effective, creative, engaging, and that teaches more than academic content. We believe in assessments that are authentic, meaningful, appropriate, and helpful in guiding students' futures in whatever vocation they choose. We believe in technology that enhances learning, enables education in varying environments, and prepares students for current and future technological advancements. We believe facilities should provide a safe, clean, and effective learning environment. And we believe in proper stewardship of resources that supports the sustainability, security, and effectiveness of our school district. And our next agenda item is the Students of the Month. And start with the elementary.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, my brain is in spring break mode, so I realized when I got here, I was like, whoops, I made a little mistake, but that's all right. We'll adjust, we'll make it work. Lily Austin. There's Lily. Hi, Lily. All right, so usually I have that written on there, but I gotta go David Dean. Mr. Dean does this, he reads off his computer. So Lily is a hardworking and dedicated student. She always is taking her time to come up with the best answer possible and has her thoughts worked and ready backed up. Let me try that again. Lily's a hardworking, dedicated student. She always takes her time to come up with the best answer possible and has her thoughts and work ready to back it up. Lily is also a kind, caring friend towards her classmates if trouble arises. She's one of the first ones to come to help. Whether she whether she's a good listener or if she needs to share ideas that are struggling. To those that are struggling, at recess, she is a strong soccer player and leader, and she does not back down from a challenge. Congratulations. We'll get through that one. Sutton here. All right, we're just going to talk about it. All right, so Sutton is a delight to have in class. She comes in, gets busy working hard on all of her assignments, participates in class, and follows instructions. On top of being a great student academically, she's also a great person. She's a kind friend and is always smiling. Congratulations, Sutton, fourth grade. Prom. Prom Patel. So Param is a student who knew very little English when he came to Bloomfield at the beginning of the school year. He's learned so much this school year. Param interacts with his peers in English. He loves to be around students, and he's very sweet to his teachers and the aides that work with him. Param loves to play blocks and has an infectious laugh that we all love to hear. I'm so very proud of how far Param has come so far this year. Congratulations, Param. In Oakland. I thought so. Oakland. All right. Oakland. Oakland tries her best on all her assignments. She participates in class discussion, respectfully listens to others. She's kind and caring towards her teachers and her peers. Congratulations, Oakland. Junie. Junie is a sweet, kind, and loving person. She easily makes friends and is caring towards others. Junie works hard and does great work. I very much appreciate having her in my class. Congratulations, Junie. That's great. And Miss Zoe. Zoe. Yay, I got one. Hi, Zoe. You want to hold this cool thing? Fantastic. All right. Zoe is a wonderful student. She's enthusiastic about learning and helping her peers. Zoe has a competitive spirit that pushes her to her academic and personal goals. She displays a level of responsibility and determination well beyond her years. Congratulations. Way to
All right, then the middle and high school.
Okay, so for the month of March, the middle school and high school had freshmen and seventh grade. So I'm going to start out with our seventh grade student of the month. That's Mr. Camden Doty. Come on up here, Camden. How are you? Good. Man. You're a little anxious.
Yeah, I know. Just
Just let it happen. You're good.
yeah.
We're all right. We're all right. Well, I didn't know him back there. He was hiding back there behind me. I was glad to see you make it there. But I had some real easy questions for you, Camden, and you answered them. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So his favorite food says medium rare. I love that you put what, 'cause it's always a text. What do you get when you go there?
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I like medium rare steak with a baked potato.
When is that?
That's right, man. Good job. He is involved in science club and concert band. All right. His hobbies include he likes to play with instruments or just hang out with friends. And basically likes most everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What now? Instrument? What do you play?
Trumpet.
He's a trumpet. All right. Well done, sir. His favorite subject? I really don't have a favorite subject because they give me some challenges, but it depends on the class. You had to, if I'm putting you on the spot here. Band, math, science.
I would say English.
You are an amazing. All right. All right. English. Nice. Who's your English teacher?
Drake.
Miss Drake. All right. Very good. All right. And I asked Cameron, I said, what do you like most about Bloomfield Middle High School? He says the people are very friendly and help with anything possible. So well said, sir. Congratulations to you. Got go. And our freshman student of the month for March is Miss Dixie Hudson. Dixie, come on up here. And how are you tonight?
Good.
You good? All right, here we go. So, what's your favorite food? Tacos, that's right. Nothing's right to it. Good tacos. You got a favorite place you like to get them at?
Taco Bell.
Just asking. Asked what clubs she's involved in. She's involved in basketball, soccer, track, and FCA. Favorite sport? Put you on the spot. Oh, there you go. You know who plays tonight? Not gonna tell you. All right. Her hobbies, she plays outside with her siblings. How many siblings you got? Got to count, don't you? You didn't know that you're gonna have 5. Okay, that's fine. All right, there, well done there. Okay. Yeah, she says, I like playing outside with my siblings and hanging out with my friends. All right, very good. Her favorite subject, history, because I like learning about what used to happen. Right? Who's your history teacher? Miss Klein. All right, very good. You like her?
Yeah.
And what do you like most about Bloomfield? She says, I like how the teachers take time to help each student. Right? All right, very nice. Congratulations, Dixie. Okay, all right. All right, thank you.
And again, congratulations to all the students of the month and their families. And we invite you to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you need to leave, we understand and we'll pause for just a second. Okay, we'll continue on with the recognitions. Is there any from the elementary?
Elementary. A little busy. So one of the things we've been working on is trying to get a pre-K program in the school. One of the challenges that we see, and if we look at the data, especially when kids come to us in kindergarten, there is just like huge deficits. Kids don't recognize letter sounds and so on and so forth. And so what that does, it puts us behind the ball as we go through. These kids go through first, second, third, and it kind of follows them and plays them throughout. And so we will have, starting next year, we'll start to have a pre-K program that will follow the school calendar, whatnot. It'll be state funded. And then the parents will also provide a small amount in that as well. So I think that, along with our title program, being able to work with these kids, we'll be able to close that gap pretty rapidly in the kindergarten, or in the elementary yet. I'm sorry. iRead scores were in. So I wanted to give a special thanks to Mrs. Cunningham, Mrs. Shields, Mrs. Pemberton. One of the things I did when I got here, we was talking about a new curriculum as we start to go into the science of reading and improving our reading scores for our kids and everything. I make no bones of where we stand now. It's not where we're going to be. So they had everything done for the year. They had everything planned. And so I came up to them with a great idea. I was like, hey, I know you got everything done, but can we just like put a new curriculum in? Would you mind that? And so they graciously said yes. It's been a stressful year for them. So I really, really appreciate everything that they've done. It was a huge undertaking. It wasn't just something you could do during the course of the day. This is weekends and evenings and everything else, and blood, sweat, and tears that these ladies have put into this. And so I appreciate them for what they've done. And so our scores, we got them back, our preliminary results. Last year, they get 3 tries at it. So you get a test in March, you get a test in May, and then they can do summer school and they can do a final test. Last year, we ended the year at 82% pass rate for iRead. This year, on the first test, after it's done, we were at 88%. So a significant increase, which is great. We even have one of our kids with good cause exemptions. The state allows us a good cause exemption for kids who may have cognitive disorders or some sort of disability. It represents less than 1% of the student population. We even had one of our kids, 1 of 4, pass iRead on that. They made significant increases, I think to the tune of like 163 points. iRead is scored between 200 and 600. So it was great. So our goal for the next one, we had the ones that did not pass were still like right on the edge. We're talking like 1 to 2 points. I fully expect us to get anywhere from 95, finish the year 95 to 100% pass rate for iRead this year, which will be great. And I think that's it.
So if they pass the first one, do they have to take it the second one, or are they done?
They're done.
Okay.
So yeah, they actually start in 2nd grade now.
Mhm.
The state's mandated if they don't pass it in 3rd grade, they have to be retained. So the idea is that they get more bites at the apple.
Right.
So 2nd grade took it as well. They'll take it again in May, and then they'll take it in 3rd grade. They'll take it like in March and then May. But anytime that they pass it, they don't have to take it again. But if they fail it in May, then they have to go to summer school. They take it again, and then if they don't pass it then they could be retained. There are some exceptions, like if they pass math on iLearn, there's some things that some caveats that the state's allowed us to let them go through if they've been retained twice and stuff like that. So there's still a pathway forward for them, but we just want to make sure that they don't even have to explore those options. So.
And you had a comment?
Yeah. Mr. Bradburn, can you go back to the pre-K and clarify we have a pre-K now, but we're switching to a full day with the On My Way pre-K?
Yes, sorry, it is. It's so right now we do have a pre-K, and it's AM and PM, and it's 4 days a week. And so what we're looking for is a full day pre-K, which was part of the On My Way pre-K, which is sponsored by the state, the FSSA, so the Family Social Services Administration. It would also allow us to really get to our lower income or socioeconomic kids. Because they would allow for vouchers. And so that portion that the parent would have to pay would then be paid on their behalf by the state and the taxpayers. It will be significantly different. Like I said, it's because it's going to be full-time. The pre-K we have now, I mean, it's fine. It's only a couple hours a day. And I just think there'll be much more meaningful,
Will
learning
it still
going
be
on there.
4 days or will it be 5?
It'll be 5 days a week. And so, yeah, it's going to be Monday through Friday, and it's going to be the same schedule as the school follows. We'll stagger the start time. It'll probably be something like 7. That way we don't have to deal with traffic or something. I haven't nailed out those details yet, but we're working on it. I did pass my background check, so that was good. State sent me. I know. That's what so I had to do the fingerprints in the background. So I called Scott and I was like, "Hey, just want to let you know, I passed the background." That's
And
fine.
how many kids in the class?
So the state has certain guidelines for the different age groups. And so right now we're looking at, technically you can get 15 four-year-olds per adult. But you can put 30 in class too. I don't think that's best practices. I think that would impede the learning of a lot. I mean, it's a lot of little ones running around. I'm looking somewhere around, 10 per adult, 20, and put it in there. And I think, with what we have, I think that will be a really good place to be.
So since they're going to be all day, will they be utilizing the cafeteria then, like the rest of the students?
Great question. They won't be able to. The regulations, just because of the way the seats are and everything else, they will not be able to eat in there because it wouldn't be safe for them. And so what we would do is they would have to be like, they take the warmers where they prepare the food, they put it in there. They would roll that down to the room, and that's where they would.
But we will be responsible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll actually provide the nutrition and everything like that, the required meals and snacks, breakfast. Yeah, we have to follow the guidelines for the thing. I had like 42 little checks to go through, and so yeah.
How many's enrolled in our pre-K now for half day?
This year we have 30, so I capped it at 15 per 15 a.m., 15 p.m. And so, next year, like I said, I plan to get that. I'm going to add that full-time class. I don't want to add like a second one. I don't want to get too far ahead. So, I mean, but I can see the need being 2 full-time classes at least.
Mhm.
So you're talking, I mean, what, 40 or 20, 40 kids. So,
Okay.
Yeah. And that's separate and apart from other things that are coming down the pipeline. So,
Okay. All right, thank you. And now the middle and the high school.
So recognitions that we had, first off, our NGROTC unit participated in the Area 14 drill championships a couple weekends ago. They placed 6 out of 18 teams, and hats off to them. We're a small unit. Well, we're the smallest unit in the U.S. And they're going against a lot of larger schools, so our cadets are participating in everything. We competed in academics, physical fitness, color guard, personal inspection, 4 separate drill events. The armed exhibition team, which was led by Cadet Braden Moore, finished 4th overall. Armed regulation team led by Cadet Blaine Van Hooser finished 5th. The color guard team led by Cadet Hunter Sisk finished 5th. Individual awards included Cadet Elena Raper, who finished 4th in armed knockout and 9th in female curl-ups. Cadet Chloe Lizway finished 3rd in female curl-ups out of 120 competitors. So they did a good job when they were over at Central Crossing in Ohio. So Liz Welch, Adeline Figg, they were this year's 2025 IBCA, Indiana Basketball Coach Association Girls Honorable Mention, Academic All-State. So congratulations to those 2 young ladies. Last board meeting, I mentioned all of our SWIAC All-Conference and Academic All-Conference, of course. On Tuesday, the 4th of March, we had our junior SAT at school day. That's an annual thing, of course. It's the state's test for the juniors by the DOE. We will get our scores back here probably shortly. Grades 6 through 8 have finished checkpoint 3 for the iLearn. We got a few students that are missing, so we'll have to make those up. But when we get back from spring break, we're looking at just 2 weeks before the start of iLearn. So that'll be here before you know it. Let's see, we held our annual scheduling meetings on Monday, March 10th. That was well attended by parents. I'm going to give you just a brief information session on the new diploma changes here momentarily. But we had a good turnout for grades 10 through 12, which stays the same. And then we have a whole new diploma requirement for the incoming class for freshmen. And so we had a good attendance by them that night. So I really appreciate parents coming out with their students and asking questions that they had. We hosted Greene County Band Day on Tuesday, March 11th. It was a busy day. We had our SWAC banquet that night. Rotary had their chili supper fundraiser, silent auction, or not silent auction, but did they have a silent auction?
It wasn't silent.
Okay, they just had a regular auction.
Yeah.
I thought they might, I thought they might have one there with that, so. They held the annual, our annual middle school success night for incoming sixth graders. That was held last night in the Aux Gym. Had good turnout for those incoming sixth graders and their parents. I want to congratulate the middle school team. Did a great job of putting that together. Each kid, of course, they signed up and they got a bingo sheet and just, fun questions, say hi to a coach, say hi to a principal, have a snack and a drink and, find a club sponsor and just, things like that. And they got a little prize there at the end. So they were excited. They were just excited to be around their friends and something to do for that. Aux Gym's a nice place to have that. So looking forward to that. So I'm going to wrap up here on the recognitions. In your board agenda items, you should have a handout, a one-pager that shows the diploma changes by the state. Maybe sometime, I don't know, Dr. Van Drake may want me to go a little more in depth on that. But just to give you just I'll just be regurgitating what's on that sheet for you. But basically right now, our students, grades 10 through 12, will finish up on the Core 40. We are not going to change that. It was probably 5 years ago, 6 years ago that we had the graduation pathways. And at that time, they said, well, even juniors and seniors, sophomores can, whatever. And that really helped several of our students, honestly. But with the changes that we have here, we're going to keep that consistent. So our 10th through 12th grade will finish on that Core 40 or Core 40 with academic honors and technical honors. And then you can kind of see the comparison there. There is a big push towards the work-based learning. It's always been a piece, right? The CTE and the work-based learning, but there is more of a piece of that. They've gone away from the academic honors and the technical honors. They now have SEALs, right? As I told the parents, there are 6 different SEALs, or actually 3, and then they have a plus, so there's 6 total. You have an enrollment, an employment, and an enlistment. And then with each one, you have an enrollment plus, an employment plus, and an enlistment plus. And on that second page of that one, the handout there to you, you can see all the qualifications that will be required to meet there. So to kind of give you an idea, to give it a comparison of what we do right now, that enrollment would be similar to a student that's on a college track, right? Our early college students. They would be in that enrollment phase. They'll get the Indiana College Core, the AGS, so forth like that. That employment will be along the line of the students that are the CTE pathways. And we have several kids that are involved in that. And then, of course, the enlistment speaks for itself. Those are the students that are planning to, go into one of the branches of the military. We are actually set up very well with that, with our ROTC program. And so, you look on that, and then down below there, that's the plus part. And that would be like your, the enrollment, that would be like your academic honors, technical honors, and so forth. So you can see what the requirements are for that. And that will start with our incoming class of freshmen, class of 2029.
So we no longer have the buckets.
Good question. So technically the sophomores through seniors still have the bucket 1, the diploma, right? Bucket 2, the employment skills, and bucket 3, the post-secondary. They're still a part of this, but they're not referred to as buckets.
Great. Okay.
It'll change again by the time these freshmen are on the team.
Very well could be. You know, this was pushed through pretty quick. So, we're still got more information coming out about it now. Even as we attended a session. SIEC, there, our education consortium there at Jasper. We attended a session a couple weeks ago, March 7th. And we had had others that would go through, and there will still be more go through. But the whole point of it, I mean, not get too deep in the weeds. They went and studied the Swiss model, Switzerland, and how they have their educational model, and that's where they came up with this. And the idea is to have flexibility. To really, they're wanting to be, and the key word here is intentional. They're wanting parents and students to be more intentional to think about what are they wanting to do when they graduate. What is the track that they're thinking about? So that's where we use that word intentional to be on that. So we'll all adjust. We'll get the hang of it. Really, when you start to dissect it and look at it a little bit, it's similar to what we're doing right now. We just have to change a few things, and certainly by what you can see there's a few more requirements. And I think the big piece there to kind of end with this is that work-based learning piece. We already have that. I've had several students that are work-based learning. I have several students that are here half a day and then they go to work in the afternoon, and some are here a period of 2 and then they go to work. It just varies. The first part for the appointment, it says they have to have 150 hours. Now, that's not every year. That's just a total, right? They do that easily within a year. That's our requirement right now, that if they're going to use work-based learning for the bucket 2, the employability skills, they have to accrue 150 hours in a year, 75 in a semester. They can get that very easy. But if you look down below there in the employment plus, that goes up to 650 hours. Now, I mean, that's a healthy increase right there. So, but there will be some students that obtain it for sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then public comments, we had no one sign up, so we'll go on to our routine business and the meeting minutes from the February 27th, 2025 regular session. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then the treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve.
All right, and a second? All in favor? Okay, thank you. And then we have a list of personnel. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then we would like to thank anonymous donation to the cafeteria and also 2 separate anonymous donations to the Bloomfield Redliners. And do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? All right, and then we have a fundraiser for the Bloomfield Band. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll approve.
All right, a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you very much. And then we have another business, ROTC field trip to Pensacola, Florida. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, and a second?
I'll second it.
Give it to Lana for the record. All in favor? All right, thank you. And then transportation management of subcontracted drivers on behalf of the contracted drivers. And would you like to elaborate on that a little more?
Yes, so our transportation director, Jonas Johnson, was informed by Mike Larocco, who is the director of the Office of School Transportation, that during a recent audit of some other schools farther south, but still in Indiana, was done where they are like us and they have contracted bus drivers, which is becoming more and more unique. What was learned through the audit is that contracted drivers have to maintain a file for each of their subcontracted drivers, and in that file has to be their drug testing, and they have to be in their own drug testing pool, which is a lot to ask for a contracted bus driver to do. It's something that we already do for all of our drivers. And when we took a look at our subcontractors that our bus drivers are using, all but one are already in our drug testing pool because they drive for ECA events. So in speaking with Jonas and coming up with a plan, what we would like to offer our contracted drivers who we look at as partners, every day they're helping get our students to and from school, is that we would like to offer to maintain those files, which would mean that the subcontracted drivers would be added to our drug testing pool. So again, it's really only adding one more person to it, and then we would maintain those files. That would ensure that everybody's meeting the requirements and taking on these very, very minimal additional costs and a little bit more work to have that one more person added. That just helps us ensure that that drug testing is happening. Obviously, it's a federal law. We want it to happen. That ensures that the bus drivers that are driving are not doing drugs and on drugs. So, so it is something that we want to see done and done correctly. So what I'm proposing and recommending that you approve is the ability to us to add to the transportation contract with each of the contracted drivers, this addition that we would be willing to take on. When we met with the drivers, all of them seem to be in favor of this, but it will still take a signature on their part to say that they are agreeing to this as well, and then we would move forward. So I don't foresee any of them not wanting to take advantage of the offer pending your approval, but that's what I'm recommending and asking.
Any questions or comments?
So if someone were to add, someone new got a CDL, what would be the process that they would add them to that pool?
Right. I think excellent question. And I can help you with the CDL process if you're interested particularly. So before, which that is something that a contracted driver can go out and seek their own subcontracted driver. So that's a real possibility. If that were to happen, the very first step before they can drive for us at all is they have to go through our background check. So we put them through the background check, which at the very quickest
Which
still
apparently is pretty lenient.
that was a statement, but yeah. So for them to go through the background check, if one of our contracted drivers can't drive this afternoon and they say, I found some subcontractor, if they haven't gone through the background check, they're not driving that afternoon. The answer is no. So it will still take a few day turnaround at the bare minimum. That will also trigger the process then of putting that person in our drug testing pool. So before they can subcontract for us, they have to start with that background check, which then allows us to add them to the drug testing pool. So I do think that's a good question.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I motion we approve.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then a resolution to distribute the early literacy achievement grants. Is there any additional information you'd like to share there? Or?
This is an annual grant that we've been getting from the state, but it is, just to clarify, limited to what the state allows, which is kindergarten through third grade employees that directly impact the instruction of students. So you're talking about K-3 classroom teachers, title teachers that are in K-3, and then our instructional assistants, as well as our library facilitator. Those are the only people that qualify. And if you look at the list, they have to have taught last year as well as this year, and then we just divided it evenly amongst all of them. So the total amount each would get is $190.73.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion.
All right, and a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then due to a schedule conflict, a request has been made to change the date of the regular session April 24th meeting to Monday, April the 21st. And do I have a motion to approve?
We approve.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor? All right, thank you. And then we have a Neola board policy update. This was pulled from last month, and that's been taken care of at this time. So do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, we approve.
And a second? All right, all in favor? All right, and then would you like to introduce the next agenda item?
Yes, so I've been very pleased and excited about the start or the return from previous years, our elementary PTO. So the past several years, we haven't had an elementary PTO. And what I was asking for was just to get the ball rolling and have it build up. However, the parents that have got on the leadership team, which 3 of them are here today, Connie, Andrea, and Ashley, have way far exceeded anything I was asking for out of the elementary PTO in the first year. They had a booth at the Apple Festival with animals to pet, which I thought was awesome, and they used that as a fundraiser. They've done some other things as well, but I've just really appreciated their work and their vision to help our school. So they've come, they want to put the pressure on Marvin for the presentation, but I'd at least like to ask them just to talk a little bit about what they've done, because they've really far exceeded anything I was asking for this to get started. So
the PTO, essentially the whole reason we are trying to bring it back is to enrich the lives of the students and the staff. One way of doing that is all the fundraisers that we have put together. He had kind of mentioned a couple of them. We did the Apple Festival. We've got the book fair going this week. Tomorrow is the last day for that. We did a Santa shop this year, which was super, super successful. We had a lot of great feedback from that. But one thing I really wanted to point out is the community businesses have really come forward and sponsored a lot of things for us. We're very, very grateful for them. Some of them are going to hate us because we do have a new one coming out for Walkathon. Our Walkathon is going to be the biggest event of the year every year moving forward. So we're replacing the carnival with it. This is our first year doing it. And with the proceeds that we plan to raise for the Walkathon, one of our first things that we would like to purchase is going towards extra security for the school. I believe it was the beginning of this year we had a little bit of a scare. Luckily, it was not an active issue. However, a lot of parents were very frightened for very good reason. I mean, the world is a scary place. So one of the things that we really are passionate about is protecting our students, protecting our staff. With that being said, Marvin is going to kind of demonstrate a little bit about what we're doing. It off to Marvin.
What she means by that is.
We do have flyers today that you guys are welcome to pick up, but we will also be going around town asking businesses if they would like to sponsor. Our principals and our superintendent were very gracious to offer us really prime locations within the school that those businesses could advertise. We know Bloomfield is not very big, so advertising is very limited, and businesses really do well when they advertise within the school. So if you guys know of any businesses, if you'd like to pick up flyers from us today or any day, reach out to us. We'd be happy to help with that. But we have a lot of really exciting plans coming up, and we have monthly meetings. So if anybody wants to attend, then you don't have to be a member to attend. You just have to be a member to vote. So we really encourage you guys to kind of join in and get some ideas. Marvin, you're up, buddy. Sorry.
Our first level of security fails, and they can access the inside of the doors. You'll notice, even if the intruder can access the inside of the door, our new locks will prevent them from entering the room. With the funds raised from our walk-on, we would like to purchase our next level of protection. In order to purchase these locks throughout the Bloomfield School District, we need to raise $30,000.
Achieving this goal is a community effort. We believe with your support, we can make that happen.
Any contribution, big or small, will make a difference. Please consider donating to this cause. Yeah. Yeah, so, I guess, the only thing I can add is those locks, they're a lifetime warranty. Everything breaks, anything happens, they'll be replaced. I think our door locks in general are strong enough to withstand anything you throw at them or shoot at them or whatever the case may be. So if they get past that, then I believe that lock's gonna help. It's gonna slow them down enough. Things are over usually in about 5 minutes if we're doing our job. So there's no way they'll get in that door in that 5 minutes.
When are the meetings held?
Every month, what is it, third Monday of every month? We post it on, the last Monday, sorry.
March 3rd.
Whatever the last, that's right, it's the last Monday of every month. Guys. We post the dates a year in advance online, so you'll see it on the elementary, Bloomfield PTO page, as well as the Bloomfield Elementary Facebook page as well. So they are always posted in advance. And we can see about posting them on the Bloomfield School District page if you guys.
Only $5 to become a member. If any of you want to join, have me on a team.
All right.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
For that. It's
Yep.
really important, your involvement. It's, I don't know, it's been a while since we've had an active PPO, so it's nice. I don't know, when did you guys start? Yeah,
This is our first year.
okay,
So I know, looking back, I was a Bloomfield graduate. I don't remember having a PTO,
Yeah.
but my experience here at Bloomfield was very, very good because our parents and teachers were very, very involved in our lives. So
right.
Emily's 22, and we had a PTO then that was very small.
Yeah.
Like, really, yeah, it wasn't. And I feel like that's probably about the time it fizzled out, like not long after that. So
And you ladies done the book fair this week, right?
yes.
How did your book fair go?
So far, really good. Yeah, really good.
One of the things, they actually teamed up. They truly have a commitment to work with teams and stuff. And so they're working with one of the committees that we started, elementary, the Sunshine Committee. That's just to promote teachers' appreciation and everything else. And so they've met with them and kind of working with them as well. So it's
Excellent.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. All right. And would you like to introduce our next
Yep.
agenda item?
So you all know we've been working on some renovations and we're going step by step through the process. So we are now ready to talk about and hopefully get your approval for step one, phase one, stage one, whatever you want to refer to it. So Performance Services is here to present, and the three people that are here, Steve Thoman and Rich Warner, who is engineer, and Ryan Benson, who's an architect. I've worked with them, had a lot of meetings. We've also had some of our teachers whose rooms will be directly affected involved in the process as well. And I'm excited about what they have to share with you. They gave me the presentation in advance, so I knew what they were going to present to you. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, Dr. Van Ruy, members of the board, thank you for having us this evening. We're excited. A little bit of history. You may or may not know, we had the opportunity to work with you guys on 3 past projects. Back in 2012, we did the mechanical renovations at the lower elementary. And then we were selected again in 2015 and kind of tackled the mechanical systems in the upper elementary and the middle school. And then in 19 again, we were successful and did some mechanical work here. So I'm excited to be back in front of you. Certainly, I can tell you we know your buildings pretty well. Scott already introduced us, but again, business development manager, been with the company now. I'm on my 26th year. It's crazy to me, but Rich Warner, again, engineering manager, over 30 years experience in the K-12 mechanical space.
Ryan Benson, a principal architect with us, coming up on 30 years as an architect in the K-12 arena here in Indiana. So a lot of experience went behind this. And Donna Schnelly, Bowen, she's one of our interior designers. She was unable to make it, but she certainly played a part meeting with, all of your folks, the art teachers, to make sure that we're giving you exactly what you want. So on that note, I want to thank, Dr. Vanderay for getting those meetings. It's so impactful to have the people that are in those spaces be part of the, what do they need? What is the curriculum? How are they teaching it? And how do we make that new design work for what they're doing? And I can tell you, I feel very comfortable that happened. There have been situations with other districts. They don't want to have that much involvement, but it's so helpful to go through that. We're not going to take a ton of your time. Stop us if you have any questions as we go through this. As a project overview, we'll kind of give you a high level of what HVAC and plumbing improvements we're going to do. That'll be done by Mr. Warner. Then we'll talk about the renovations to the science labs, the art, and also the weight room. Mr. Benson will do that. And then I will kind of hit some highlights of the project milestones, some potential hurdles that we'll have on a few items just in terms of lead time. And then we'll have a cost summary. And that's really comparing what we had budgeted versus where the actual costs came in. And I will say in general, I don't know how familiar you are with the bidding market right now. A lot of districts are having a hard time getting people to bid work because they are so busy. And we were very fortunate with this project. We have multiple bids in every category from quality contractors. So we were very excited about that piece of it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Rich, and unless you have questions, and then we'll go through the mechanical piece of it. You can stop him anytime. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about infrastructure, and then Ryan will talk about some of the fancier stuff. I'm gonna start with the high school junior high chiller. We've included replacing that chiller. We'll talk a little bit about the existing chiller. Right now, you have a structural frame on the roof of the high school, and that's this picture right here. The chiller frame was built for 2 chillers, and we believe there were originally 2 chillers up there, although can't find any photo evidence of that going all the way back to 2012. I don't have any photo evidence of it, but at some point, one of those chillers was removed. You can see where the steel beams were for the second chiller. The chiller that you have now is undersized for the space that it's cooling, and it's undersized if you ever want to expand, whether it's classrooms or whether you want to put your new addition, which is not on that central chill water plant, on it. So our solution is to provide a bigger chiller that is right size for the square footage that you have, and it would even allow you to do a little bit of an expansion if you had plans to do that in the future. We're keeping the structural frame that's up there. We're cleaning that up, repainting it. It's in good shape other than just the looks. So that work is included. Along with that chiller, we're replacing the chilled water pumps that provide chilled water to all of the high school. And those are primary and secondary pumps. And then we're replacing all the chilled water components, which would be air separators, expansion tanks, those things that are in the chiller room itself. So that's all included on the HVAC side of things. And then you see a couple pictures. The top is the existing chiller, and then that bottom one is the chiller room, which is directly underneath it on the second floor of the high school. On the domestic water system at the elementary school, originally we thought there were a lot of galvanized piping in the tunnels and stuff. We came down, we met with Mr. Bales, went through the tunnels, found out that a lot of that galvanized piping we thought was in the tunnels had already been replaced. So in the course of that discussion, Mr. Bales asked us to do a little bit more work in the boiler room itself on the elementary side of things, and we were able to include that in the project. Originally, it was supposed to be just replace galvanized domestic water piping, but we were able to give you a new water softener, duplex water softener, new domestic water heaters, new domestic water mixing valve, new water storage, domestic water storage tank, replace the domestic water return, hot water return pump, and provide a new backflow preventer to separate your system from the city water. So those were all things that we were able to get into the project that Mr. Bales had asked for. And I think that's really going to clean up his elementary domestic water system. And then lastly, we did include an alternate bid for temperature controls. Mr. Bales had asked us to do this, and so we did. We didn't want to put that cost in the base bid. You'll see, Steve will talk about that in a little bit. But when you did your last edition, the temperature control graphic screens that Mr. Bales and his staff use to look at the system and interact with it are different than all the rest of the screens that we've provided over the past 10, 12 years. So he asked that we update all of those, and we included that cost to do that. Recommissioning of existing controls equipment in the junior, senior high school, elementaries. All that equipment is now coming on 10, 12 years old. And so there's undoubtedly some components that have failed, whether they be damper actuators or valve actuators and stuff like that. So we included recommissioning, going through all of that system, identifying a list for him, and then coming back and saying, look, this is the components that we see that you need to take a look at and address. We did not include cost to fix all of that because we don't know what's broken. There may be nothing broken. There may be just a handful of things, or there could be a number of components. So that's what the list of deficiencies. And then the last one is include a tritium overlay system. Right now, your junior elementary is all Allerton controls. The KRM work that they did with the new edition is something different. And so he asked that we put a tritium overlay that would make you basically non-proprietary. You can go get controls from various different vendors then, and it would all look the same at a high level for your tritium. None of this is work that you have to do. It's work that we would recommend it. And I think Mr. Bales, if he were voicing his opinion, would say, hey, that would be a great idea, but there is a cost associated with it. So any questions about the infrastructure? That's the boring stuff. The good stuff.
Rich, one thing that I was hoping that you'd just point out to the board is there is, from our last construction project that added some square footage this way, and with the power lines, there's an obstacle that there are solutions to, but can you just explain replacing that chiller, the obstacles that the contractors will have to face?
Yeah,
just so they're aware.
The lift to pick the chiller up off of the flatbed truck and get it to the roof is a substantial cost. The contractors are telling us the crane for that is $50,000. There was even at one point discussion about using a helicopter to fly that chiller in and drop it down on the pad, because it's just a long way to lift it up and get it all the way out to the middle of the building and back down again. And so that cost is included in the project, but it is substantial. And it has to happen when there's nobody in the building, because you're lifting a really large piece of equipment that looks like a semi-trailer up over the top. So that chiller work would not happen until you get out of cooling season this fall. Mm-hmm. So we would do that sometime, after it cools off.
Thank you. I just wanted them to be aware of the added obstacle for that cost measure, and they would be allowed to be in the park and watch it, just not in the building. Right? Board members can be there.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
Good evening, Brian Benson. So the renovation is just an overall plan of the school. I've highlighted the areas. Rich mentioned the chiller, which is right above here. You can see we are currently in roughly, we're on the second floor or the first floor, but in this space, the chiller is kind of in the middle of the building above that yellow square. The boiler room work that he mentioned is down here in the elementary school. And then the three areas of renovation, we have the science labs on the second floor, the art room, and then the weight room. These first, the science rooms, it's no news to you, but the science room, all the equipment, the casework in those rooms are very old. Not just that, but in some cases, they were non-functioning. Some of the gas outlets, the water, even the safety shower, it was functional, but there was an issue with the drain. So and you can see just the space is tired and it's well used. But so we went in, or we're proposing to go in and remove all of the casework, all of the equipment, and then provide all new finishes, so floor and ceiling finishes, new paint, and then all new casework for both science rooms, as well as casework. There's two storage prep rooms and off of each science lab. So it'll be all new casework. There's a large demonstration island at the far ends. There is currently, we would be proposing to go back with that, as well as a smaller demonstration island on the other end. We've actually been able to enlarge the student islands to give the students some more space. There are your current labs were built before ADA, so there was no accessible student zone. So one in each of the labs, you'll see these are the sinks. This smaller sink here is an ADA accessible sink. So it'll allow someone would be in a wheelchair, they could pull up and it's at the proper heights and reach requirements and everything. So incorporating that, go back. This picture, this is the fume hood in the room furthest to the east. It's out in the middle of the room. You can see it. It's on that student island and it just takes up space. So we propose in a proposal, this is the new location for the fume hood against the wall. One thing you will notice, there was an operable partition, like a movable wall, separating kind of the lecture space from the lab space. The teachers told us that they never closed those. They always stayed open. So then with those walls being open, they just took up space that was really precious. So we're removing those operable walls and the pocket walls that you store those folding walls in. It allowed us to pick up some more countertop space for the students. So yeah, there'd be the one fume hood, this room. So this would be chemistry and biology. So the fume hood is in chemistry. There's no fume hood in biology. It's just another piece of casework. But other than that, they're pretty much mirror images of each other. So it provides flexibility, should the programs change over the years. The only difference is the fume hood in the lab on the west side.
So are you using existing plumbing, gas lines, or new ones being run?
All new plumbing in those areas.
So yeah, all new plumbing fixtures, all new gas fixtures, new electrical, everything inside the walls of the spaces is brand new. The casework is a science casework, so it's wood. The casework that you have in there's plastic laminate, so wood casework, and then with epoxy tops, which the epoxy countertops is what you have there. They're chemical resistant, but that's what the teachers are used to seeing and working with in the science labs. These are some elevations of the casework. For instance, this is the teacher demonstration island, the larger one, where there's kind of a stand-up height and then a sit-down with a knee space so they can put their computer on. Here's the smaller demonstration table, which one thing to note, there's emergency gas shutoffs so that which they can turn the gas. Right now, they keep the gas off, and I think they keep the water off in case there's leaks. So all the leaks and whatnot are going to be fixed in the project, but there'll be emergency gas shutoff should they be using the gas and there's an emergency, they can immediately shut that off. Go back to the plan. I'm sorry. So the safety showers, they're currently located here. Those will be new safety showers. So we're replacing them, fixing the drains on those, as well as new fire extinguisher cabinets and fire blankets as far as safety equipment. As I mentioned, so here's the elevation of the student work tables, the longer islands for the students. And then here's the fume hood and the chemistry side. And that's anything questions related to the science labs.
And if I can just point out, Ryan, they having the teachers involved in this process really pointed out a bunch of things that I didn't even know. It's like when you talk about the gas line, one of the things that Miss Bonner said is they keep theirs shut off because they believe that there's a leak there that this will then fix. They've never told me that. The shower in this process, when you talk to the teacher and let them get involved, explain that it's draining in the classroom below gets a little wet as well. They never told me that until we're going through this process, but by letting them have that voice, Mrs. Wright was saying that she would never use the hood, so that was something that could be removed. We still have it in the chemistry lab, so if something were to ever change, and they also, with teaching dual credit, contacted the Ivy Tech contacts that they had to make sure that what they were asking for in the lab would address anything, even if we added a biology or more advanced biology or chemistry class in the future, so that this will address it. So it was very helpful having them involved in the process and being able to say what they need and what they're looking for. So yeah, but thank you, Ryan.
The art room, sorry about the picture on the right there, but so the art room, similar situation with the casework. The sinks were functional, but the complaint in the art room is there's a lot of students and it's not much bigger than a normal classroom. So I forget the art teacher's name.
Wyatt LeGrand.
Wyatt, yes. He mentioned that if we could remove these peninsulas where the sinks are on a peninsula, I think the original idea is so the students could go around, be on three sides of them and just push them back. It would give him more space in there. And then as we met with Wyatt, talked about other storage needs. You see in the picture on the right, there are these bins, the tall storage with bins that students put their materials in. And he had about half the number of bins for the number of students that he teaches. So I don't know if they were sharing or I don't know how that worked out, but there just wasn't enough. The picture on the left is the kiln, which is the existing kiln to remain. You'll keep that, but you'll see the exhaust hood for the kiln. It's kind of in the back corner. As I go to the next slide, so the kiln hood exhaust here with the kiln. So what we are proposing is removing those peninsulas and just putting the sinks back against the wall. Both sinks, again, this was constructed before ADA. So one of the sinks meets ADA requirements for height and reach. Both sinks have plaster or clay trap on them. So as they're washing, brushes or materials from pottery, it goes down in the sink. It doesn't go into the sewer system. So it traps it under the sink there, and then that gets cleaned out on a regular basis. We did replace all the casework in the art room. So along this south wall, I have an elevation here in a moment. Going back, it's not the full picture, but those were full height cabinets all the way across. And we're going back with here. See, so we have two tall storage cabinets with the totes where we've doubled the amount of the student totes that's on the end, and then provided a base cabinet with countertop. So that gives him the counter space. He needed additional counter space, and then wall cabinets above there. Again, the cabinets along the back, there's windows above here, so that's a little misleading. So there's no wall cabinets above the windows. A place for the existing potter's wheel. There was just a lot of stuff in his room as well, and I think it's been cleared out since, or he's working on clearing that out, but giving him room to move around the space. So the potter's wheels here, the kiln, and then we have this is all new casework as well, but we have a paint spray booth on this corner. There's a fire extinguisher next to that, and then I'll go to the elevation to show, yeah, that's the elevation on the right. So you have this gray booth, and then the tall storage here, that's for clay storage. It's a vented cabinet for clay storage, and then just different base cabinets and upper cabinets for all the storage needs in an art room. As well as new finishes, new floor, new paint, new ceiling, and lights. Any questions on the art room?
Very good.
Finally, the weight room. So the weight room, if the bleachers, the southern bleachers are retracted, you have access to the weight room, and the access is through the sliding gate, which is not it's not a means of egress. You need to be able to have a swinging door that you can just push open and get out. And then, of course, when the bleachers are closed, you can't access it. So Dr. Van Der Ray asked us to look at providing some security, because if you look, I don't have the existing plan, but we're building a wall at the top of the west stairs with a pair of doors that can be locked, because there's doors from the right at the stair and then to access the balcony, but on the left, you just have free access. So a student could get up here, get back in the weight room, without supervision. It could be in an unsafe condition. So now, providing this door and wall and door, you can secure that so that no students could be up there without proper supervision. Questions on the weight room?
All right, so let's talk a little bit about schedule and some of our costumes. So I'm not going to go through this in great detail, but the big picture is for all these projects to be complete, you're looking at about a 270-day duration. So let's dig in just a little deeper than that. Well, yes, let's dig in a little deeper. That's a misprint. December 19th. So everything will be complete, including the chiller, which would be the last thing right before Christmas break. Here's what I want to point out. Equipment, material, lead times. Things have gotten a lot better over the last few years. During COVID and right after COVID, chillers were over a year and a half. So you can see these are the three items that we're dealing with: the art room casework, the science room casework, and the chiller. So again, if you decide to move forward with this project this evening, we will try and get those things ordered ASAP. You'll notice that the science casework is a longer lead than the art room, and that's because you've got the epoxy tops in the science room, and you've got the wood. Yeah, but the tops are laminate tops for the art room. That's probably the biggest piece. We've always thought and considered, we knew the chiller would never be here in time to get it installed before this coming up cooling season. So as soon as the systems are shut down next fall, that's when we'll start getting into the chiller replacement. So big picture, over the summer, by the time you come back to school for the 25-26 school year, the domestic water heating system, will all be complete and replaced. The weight room renovation will be complete. The art room renovation will be complete. The three things that won't be are the biology classroom and the chemistry room. And the reason for that is casework won't show up for the biology and chemistry room currently until mid to late August. So our plan, what we'd like to do is over the summer, and I've talked to Dr. Van Der Ray about this, over the summer, we want to gut those rooms. We want to get the new flooring in, ceilings, lights, paint everything. So you'll have basically 2 shelled out rooms waiting for the casework. And what that'll do is once the casework does come in, it's going to be less time that we're working in the building when the kids are in the building. So it's really, let's get it ready. And as soon as that comes in, let's get the casework in. Right now, we're being conservative. We believe that'll be very comfortable. We're comfortable, very comfortable. It'll be done by the end of fall break, by the time you come back from fall break. However, I think there's a decent possibility it will be done before that. But lead time on stuff like that we've just been burnt so many times. So we're trying to paint what we would consider a worst case scenario. Any questions on schedule? Cost summary. Okay, so a year ago or so, when we started looking at a lot of these different improvements and started kind of narrowing down what that scope would look like, we provided the district with, their highest priorities and what we thought those costs would be. So I'm happy to say with HVAC improvements, we had budgeted $1,296,000 for all of those items, and it came in about 177 under that. So we were pleased with that. The weight room renovation, they did a good job. It's right on. I mean, a couple hundred over. Science lab renovations, again, came in under. So an additional 85,044 going back into some other type of improvement. Now, this is the one that will probably stick out to you, the art room renovation. We had budget 100,000. The difference there, when we first looked at it, we were looking at just replacing the sinks, not all the casework. And as we got into it and started talking to the teacher and what he was trying to do, it just became, if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it and do it right. So you don't have to come back to the science labs or the art room in the next 20 years or whatever. So that art room renovation, again, is full-blown ceilings, floors, lights, painting, new casework. So that's where that discrepancy, that's the biggest piece. We didn't have all new casework. So if you look at the overall picture, and I haven't included the drainage, because we're going to be meeting with Dr. Vanderay and our site civil partner to discuss some of the issues we're finding there. For all of the items we presented tonight, the budget was $2,310,000. It came in a little under 3 or 2.2. So overall, there's another 113,000 going back into whatever work that you may decide to do in the future, or next highest priorities, if you will.
Additional information, or you good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything?
Concerns?
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
So it says motion to approve here. Do we have to approve something?
For them to move forward with phase 1.
I thought we approved.
Well, any construction, there's multiple approvals.
I get
Well, as soon as we approve tonight, they're ordering tomorrow.
That means tomorrow, right?
I'm asking for it tomorrow. They'll go on their schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, was there any other additional questions or comments, or?
So is this sheet here, who was bid?
Yeah, that was to show that all those categories had multiple bidders, which, as
Yellow
Steve
is
pointed
the
out,
one with
in this environment was absolutely phenomenal. And I think, especially, construction wise, this is a fairly small project. To each of us, it seems huge, but for a project of a building this size, it's a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
And so to have this much interest is really a credit to these people. I think like working with Performance Service because of their past history with them. So I think that was a huge benefit to us.
Is this who won the bid? I assume
Yeah,
it's in
the
yellow.
Yeah.
I would just say we get questions a lot, like, well, our goal is to get 3 bidders. That's kind of, we find what quality bidders. That's one thing unique about this process. We can sit down with your folks and hand select the best mechanical contractors, electrical contractors in the area to competitively bid against each other. But we found if you get into that 4 or 5, then 3 are going to drop out because now they've only got a 20% chance versus you know what I mean? So, and so in the major categories, we did have 3 bids in each of those. So we were very pleased.
So any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, do I have a motion to approve? And do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Terry, all right, all in favor? All right, thank you very much. And then on to the superintendent's report.
So each month I do like to just point out who our staff members of the week have been since our recent meeting. And I always like to thank Habig for their partnership of they do donate a gift card to the staff member as well as a coffee mug. So the week of February 28th was Dave Hudson, one of our very long-time contracted bus drivers. And March 7th was Candace Clark, our middle high school, one of our middle high school secretaries, who's very welcoming to everybody that comes in. And last week was Caitlin Toon, one of our instructional assistants who invest a lot in our students. I do want to mention, as we've talked about in the past, the large-scale Lilly grant that we received in conjunction with, through the Community Foundation and the other 4 Greene County schools. We're still waiting on an MOU with the Community Foundation. They're not the ones writing it, but we're waiting on that to come through so that we can move forward. As soon as we get the MOU, then it will be all on me and us, our responsibility to move the process forward. But right now we're at a standstill. So I know we all want to move forward really fast, including me, but we just are stuck waiting for the MOU. Community Foundation, they're stuck. It's not on them. It's not on Suzanne and Katie. They're wanting it soon, like us as well. So, but just wanted to give an update on that.
Okay. All right. And is there any board member comments or items for future agendas? All right. Seeing none, our next meeting after our vote to change it will be on Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the Media Center. And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
So all of you look awesome. Don't forget, we'll take a picture before we go.